Today, we're going to harness the power of the void and commune with the primal spirits to bring some excitement back to your spellbook. So sit down, pop open D&D Beyond, and get ready to surprise your players as I take you through 5 brand new spells for D&D 5th edition. Let's start off strong with the 5th level spell, Void Eruption. You pull at the fabric of space and time, causing an eruption of void energy at a location you can see within 60 feet. Any creature within 5 feet of that area must make a strength saving throw or be pulled into the void. Creatures are transported to a demi-plane of eldritch horrors, taking 8d8 psychic damage and returning to their original location after the end of their next turn. On a successful save, they only take half damage and are not pulled from existence. This spell kind of sets the tone for the entire video, as nearly every spell in today's list is twofold and has multiple different effects. Now, for a 5th level spell, 8d8 damage is not all that amazing. However, we have to consider that it can effectively take multiple creatures out of combat for an entire round, which is super powerful for setting up amazing combinations. Just having the round to discuss, reconsider, or recuperate before planning your next move can really make the difference in a difficult combat encounter. So if you want a bit more control over the flow of combat, take a look at Void Eruption and allow your Eldritch Nightmares to run wild. The second spell for today is going to be another mid-level spell with the 4th level Spectral Fissure. You extend your hand, weaving arcane sigils in the air and conjuring an illusory fissure in a 30-foot straight line anywhere you can see within 60 feet. Creatures within that line must make a wisdom saving throw or have their senses overwhelmed with illusory danger. Creatures that fail their save believe they plummet into an illusory abyss, immediately falling prone, taking 66 psychic damage and becoming stunned until the end of their next turn. And just to clarify, creatures don't actually fall, it's just an illusion, they think they fall. This is another twofold spell in that it deals damage and has the potential to stun enemies. And while the damage is really not that great, having the potential to stun multiple enemies is worth so much more than any damage the spell could do. But there's even more to consider than just that. Spectral Fissure has an incredibly versatile style of placement. It isn't a straight line from the caster, it's a straight line originating from a point anywhere within that 60-foot radius. So I can pretty much cast this in any direction or orientation I see fit, making it incredibly easy to use. All of that makes Spectral Fissure an amazing mid-level control spell which can easily outclass spells of similar level. But now for the third spell for today, we have the 2nd level Transcendent Force. You pull energy from the weave, allowing you to manipulate the air around you. While concentrating on the spell as a bonus action, you can send powerful gusts of wind towards a single enemy within 60 feet, originating from any location within that radius. Creatures hit by the wind must make a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet in that direction. And that's pretty much it. This is an incredibly simple spell, and that's on purpose. What I love about this spell is that it allows classes that don't generally get to utilize their bonus action very well to use their bonus action on something exciting. It doesn't deal damage, it doesn't lock down enemies, it just allows you a little bit more control in combat that you otherwise wouldn't have had. And yet, in its simplicity, it is a unique combat encounter that enables casters with some unique and varied options for their bonus actions. Yet another great option for adding some more control to the battlefield. Before we move on to spell number 4, I wanted to let you know that all of these spells are from a new module I am writing called Crits Compendium. It has over 100 spells, 6 subclasses, all alongside a bunch of feats, magic items, and more that you can use in your D&D table today. All of the content within will be released slowly in videos like this over time, but if you want early access, you can join as a member or a patron down below. But don't worry if you can't, because like I said, everything will be released slowly over time. But next up, we move on to the higher tier of spells with the 6th level Concussive Tides. You invoke the primal forces of water, conjuring a swirling mass that is 5 feet deep with a 30-foot radius. The area becomes difficult terrain, and any creature that starts their turn there or enters it for the first time must make a strength saving throw or become grappled by the powerful current. As a bonus action, you can move any grappled creature to any location within that whirlpool. A creature can attempt to break a grapple by using their action to make a successful athletics or acrobatics check against your spell save DC. And also, any creature that is grappled at the start of their turn takes 3d10 damage automatically as they're battered by the churning waters. And yeah, that was a lot to talk about, but I guess that's why it's a 6th level spell. Effectively, this is an upgraded Maelstrom spell. Like the other spells on today's list, it doesn't deal much in the way of damage, but it does a very good job at disrupting your enemies. Since it's difficult terrain, creatures are going to be hard-pressed to move out of it before they have to make another strength saving throw, only to be grappled and pulled right back into the middle. All of this makes Concussive Tides an amazing battlefield control option for you higher level casters out there. Or maybe if you're feeling a little bit spicy, you can just drop a nice spike growth on top and make a nice combo. Speaking of which, if you're interested in that combo specifically, I've linked a video in the description for you to check out, after this one of course. But anyways, now we have our 5th and final spell for today's list, the 2nd level Malediction. You mutter maledictions towards a creature you can see within 60 feet. That creature must make a charisma saving throw or gain disadvantage on every single attack roll they make. You can maintain concentration on the spell for up to a minute, however, a creature can remake the save at the end of their subsequent turns to end the effect. Malediction admittedly is not a very powerful spell when fighting large groups of enemies. However, when you're fighting a single larger, more powerful enemy, it is amazing. Imagine you're fighting the big bad evil guy, right? You just cast Malediction on them and restrict some of the damage they can do, and voila, you just made the combat easy. Sure, it might not deal damage, but it does a damn good job at preventing damage, and that is worth its weight in gold. The spell also kind of builds on top of itself and is twofold in that it decreases the likelihood you'll be hit with an attack, thereby decreasing the likelihood you'll lose concentration on the spell, which obviously makes it an incredibly amazing defensive ability. So considering all of that, Malediction is definitely worth looking at, especially if you're planning on going to fight a single larger enemy. But that does it for 5 homebrew spells for D&D 5th edition. If you want to see more homebrew, check out the playlist in the corner or description below, or become a member or patron for some early access privileges. Also, if you don't mind, I would love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment and let me know what you thought about all the spells. I read every comment, almost always reply, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on Friday.